to another episode of Tea Time with Maya. I'm Maya, and today's video is going to be loose leaf tea versus tea dust. And so I would like to say, because most people who have watched Tea Time with Maya know that in my family we drink a lot of loose leaf tea, and that is because we have an herbal garden in the backyard. And so when we take the stuff and we harvest it and we bring it into the inside to dry, it is in its loose leaf tea form. And so unless you have a coffee grinder or an herbal grinder, you can't actually make tea dust. So it's an extra step because it's coming to us as the whole form. But this video, I plan to shed light on each pros and cons of loose leaf tea. I've seen a lot of videos, blogs, mostly from loose leaf tea companies or tea dust companies trying to say that one is better than the other. And I personally think that there are pros and there are cons of both. And so that's what I plan to do for this video. I have a little visual aid, which I hope does not spill on the floor, but I have, you can't really see yet. Okay, I have the loose leaf tea on one side and the tea dust on the other. You will have seen them on the thumbnail. And so let's just get into it. Oh my word, that's Mom saying. Okay, so loose leaf tea, what makes it different from tea dust is loose leaf tea is the buds of like chamomile or lavender, or it is the whole leaf like you would see in mint or a basil, and then they're partially cut leaves, kind of like how I've shown you here, because this, let's see, it's so hard to see. Okay, this is lemongrass, and lemongrass, when you harvest it and bring it into your house, is about this long, sometimes even longer, and so you can't really store it that way, and so you end up having to cut it. This was put through the food processor, but you end up cutting it in some way, shape, fashion, or form so that it is easier to store, and so that's what it means by partially cut leaves. While tea dust is dust or small broken pieces. There's also a step between loose tea leaves and tea dust, and it's just called broken leaves. But here is what is considered small broken pieces and between broken leaves. And then on the sides you can see the dust. And I actually made this from the loose leaf tea. So that's something that people don't really note right away, is that tea dust comes from loose leaf tea. But this is, there's a reason why some companies use that and some companies use the other. So for loose leaf tea, it contains whole unbroken tea leaves, and some people say that that means that it's a higher grade of tea. And then tea bags, the stuff that you buy from the store that is usually in like a cardboard carton and has many tea bags in it, contain tea leaves and tea dust. And so the reason why they say that the tea leaves are a pro, the loose leaf tea are a pro, is because they say that it has complex flavors and it has aromatic oils and the leaves are intact. And that is true. But then for tea dust, they say that it is less aromatic and it has a duller flavor because the tea bags are mass produced. And so when you take the loose leaf tea and you grind it through an industrial grinder, not the one that I use, it becomes really fine. And there are essential oils, like for mint contains menthol, I think. And so it has like the oils, but when it's dust, it loses some of them. So this is what they use as a pro for the loose leaf tea and a con for the tea dust. And they also say that by storing it for a long amount of time in this small form, that it loses some of its flavor in processing. Now, while saying that, let's give a pro to the tea dust. For the tea dust, it is really easy to brew because it is so fine. You don't need as much water, and you don't need some of the more expensive tools to make it. You don't need a tea kettle, you don't need a strainer, and you don't need like a mulling ball, because you can just put it in a tea bag and then put that that tea bag in a mug, and you can add hot water, and then you have ready-made tea. While loose leaf tea takes a longer amount of time to brew, and that's because the water first has to get into the leaves and it has to be able to start brewing, which is different from the tea dust, which is faster. But they say that the reason it takes longer is because it releases a greater aroma and it has more nutrients, which is also true, but tea dust is more convenient for someone that is on the go. The other thing is, it says that the loose leaf tea has a more value for your money because you can use it multiple times, and that is true. You can take these loose leaf tea and you can make a cup of tea, and then you can take those same tea leaves and you can add hot water to them again, and you can add sugar to them again, and you'll still get a flavor close to the first one. It will significantly go down each time that you brew it. Sometimes for some types of tea it will get even stronger, but for ours, it's herbal. After a while the taste will dull over time. But tea dust is only good for like one brewing time, and you'll notice that if you try to re-add water and re-add sugar to a tea bag, it does not taste as good the second time. Sometimes it doesn't taste good at all. And so they say that though the tea dust is relatively inexpensive, you can only use it once, which is convenient for some people because you're on the go and you only want to drink one cup of tea. But for people who want to drink multiple cups of tea and kind of save some money and just buy a gigantic bag of loose leaf tea, then loose leaf tea works better for you. They also say that the loose leaf tea is less bitter, and that's because it is less processed, because it doesn't have to go through the process to become looser. It is just ready when you cut it. It's good and you can drink it, but tea dust, after a while, because of it being processing, can become more bitter over time. They say it becomes more stale quicker because it's so small. But again, there are pros and cons, and I thought that this video was really helpful for people who are just starting to drink tea. Maybe you were an avid you enjoy drinking a lot of coffee, and now you're starting to drink tea, and you hear these words and these terms and you don't really know what they mean. And I was just hoping to shed some light on that and try to give people the pros and the cons of both of them, because before we had our herbal garden, we did drink a lot of teas from a tin or from a box, and so there are teas out there that I enjoy a lot, that they're made with the tea dust, and I enjoy them a lot. And then the loose leaf tea that comes out of our garden, I also enjoy that. I don't have a favorite, it's just what is more convenient and readily available to me, and that is the loose leaf tea. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and bye guys!